Hello, my name is Michael Jones. This is my report on cryptography for the common man, an easy explanation. What is cryptography? Here's the definition. It's the art of protecting information by transforming it, or encrypting it, into an unreadable format called ciphertext. Only those who possess a secret key can decipher or decrypt the message into plain text. Encrypted messages can sometimes be broken by cryptanalysis, also called code breaking, although modern cryptography techniques are virtually unbreakable. As the internet and other forms of electronic communication become more prevalent, electronic security is becoming increasingly important. Cryptography is used to protect email messages, credit card information, and corporate data. One of the most popular cryptography systems used on the internet is pretty good privacy because it's effective and free. Modern cryptography is used in the following disciplines: mathematics, computer science, electrical engineering, and examples include computer passwords, electronic commerce, credit cards, and patient data. Here's the three parts of cryptography that we mentioned earlier: the cipher, the original message, the encrypted message. Cryptography systems can be broadly classified into symmetric key systems that use a single key that both the sender and recipient have, and a public key system that uses two keys, a public key known to everyone and a private key that only the recipient of messages uses. Here's how the process works. So, hello world is encrypted into a cybertext, then it's transmitted to the recipient, and then it's decrypted back into plain text. So encryption is the process of converting ordinary information called plain text into unintelligible information called ciphertext. Decryption is the opposite of encryption, converting unintelligible cybertext into legible plain text. The ciphers we're going to look at today are called the substitution cipher, the Lorenz cipher, DES cipher, RAS cipher, and AES cipher. The substitution cipher. The substitution cipher is one of the oldest cipher spies have ever used, believe it or not. It was invented by Julius Caesar. In this cipher, one letter is substituted for another letter, like you see in the example there. When the key code to a substitute cipher is unknown, people called cryptanalysts work to figure out these ciphers. They often start by counting letters. In the English language, E is the letter used most often. They would look at the message and figure out which letter is used the most. This is the letter that probably stands for E. It can take a very long time to figure out this cipher if you don't have the key code. In the 17th century, it took a man 16 years to figure out a message in Morocco. And here's a chart showing an example of substitute cipher. Also, here is a substitution cipher generator that we'll look at. So I can put in a key, and then my method of encoding, we'll use Bionicle. And here's the message I'm going to encode. And as you can see, there's what the coded message is going to be. We could go through different varieties of what this is going to look like. And all these is the translation or the of hello world that you see I typed in the box. The Lorenz cipher. Back during the World War, the German Army Higher Command asked the Lorenz Company to produce for them a high security teleprinter cipher machine to enable them to communicate by radio in complete secrecy. The Lorenz Company designed a cipher machine based on the additive method for enciphering teleprinter messages invented in 1918 by Gilbert Burnham in America. Teleprinters are not based on 26-letter alphabet and Morse code on which the Enigma depended. Teleprinters use the 32-symbol Baudot code. Note that the Baudot code output consists of 5 channels, each of which is a stream of bits which can be represented as no hole or hole, 0 or 1, dot or cross. The Burnham system enciphered the message text by adding to it character by character a set of obscuring characters, thus producing the enciphered characters which were transmitted to the intended recipient. The simplicity of Burnham's system lay in the fact that the obscuring characters were added in a rather special way, known as modulo 2 addition. Then exactly the same obscuring characters added also by modulo 2 addition to the received enciphered characters would cancel out the obscuring characters and leave the original message characters, which could then be printed. And if you look on this slide, you'll see the Baltic code at the top, and there's on the left side of the page you'll see some sample Lorenz cipher code, and on the right side of the page is Lorenz cipher. This is what the Germans used to send messages. And there was a machine called the Enigma that was invented to decipher these messages. The next one we'll look at is called DES cipher. It's a type of data encryption system is known as a public key system. This type of system involves 2 separate keys, a public key for encoding information and a private key for decoding information. The public key can be held and used by any number of individuals and businesses, whereas only one party holds the private key. This system is particularly useful in electronic commerce, where the merchant holds the private key and all customers have access to the public key. The public key can be posted on a web page or stored in an easily accessible key repository. Public key encryption systems are widely available on the internet and are heavily utilized by large companies like Lotus and Microsoft. On this slide you see a triple DES encryption system that's most commonly used on the internet today. Next we'll look at RAS cipher. Actually, that's supposed to be RSA cipher. That's a typo in the title. It's the best known data encryption program. It was developed in the late 1970s by 3 graduates of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, better known as the MIT. As of 2000, there were 300 million copies of RSA encryption programs installed on computer systems worldwide. RSA scrambles data based on the product of 2 prime numbers, each of which are 100 digits long. RSA is a public key encryption system, meaning that many people can use it to encode information, but only the person who holds the key or knows the value of the 2 prime numbers can decode it again. RSA is embedded in hundreds of popular software products including Windows, Netscape Navigator, Quicken, and Lotus Notes. It is also available as a free download on the World Wide Web. And the last system we'll look at is AES cipher. It's known as the Advanced Encryption Standard, and it's a specification for the encryption of electronic data. It has been adopted by the U.S. government and is now available worldwide. It supersedes the DES that we looked at a few minutes ago. The algorithm described by ES is a symmetric key algorithm, meaning the same keys used for both encrypting and decrypting the data. This cipher was developed by two Belgian cryptographers, John Damon and Vincent Rujman, and submitted by them to the AES selection process. It is sometimes known as Rendell, and it's a play on the names of the two inventors. Strictly speaking, AES is the name of the standard, and the algorithm described is a restricted variant of Rendell. However, in practice, the algorithm is also referred to as AES. AES is based on a design principle known as substitution permutation network. It is fast in both software and hardware. Unlike its predecessor, DES, AES does not use a Fistel network. AES has a fixed block size of 128 bits and a key size of 128, 192, and 256, whereas Rendell can be specified with block and key sizes in any multiple of 32 bits, with a minimum of 128 bits. The block size has a maximum of 256 bits, but the key size has no theoretical maximum. AES operates on 4x4 column major order matrix of bytes, termed the state, as you can see in these squares on the diagram. Most AES calculations are done in a special finite field, which is what you see at the bottom. The AES cipher is specified as a number of repetitions of transformation rounds that convert the input plain text into the final output of cybertext. Each round consists of several processing steps, including one that depends on the encryption key. A set of reverse rounds are applied to transfer ciphertext back into the original plaintext using the same encryption key. Also, there's what's called cipher analysis, and in non-technical language, this is the practice of code breaking or cracking the code. So this is what the code breakers term, and here's a website that you can look at that gives you some tools for cracking code. That has Caesar shifts, frequency analysis, letter substitution, affine shift, Wagner cipher, transportation ciphers, and ADFGVX ciphers. So you could look at frequency analysis, and you could come down here and put your ciphertext in here and then submit it, and it will tell you the letter frequencies, and it will help you try to break that code. Letter substitution, it's basically the same thing. Affine shift. Here's the next one. And here you can look at the letter frequencies and the substrings. Caesar shifts. So you just enter your ciphertext right here in this box, and then click submit, and it will give you the output and try to decipher it for you, or at least give you some type of analysis on how you can decipher it yourself. And that's my presentation. Thanks for watching.